This episode of DDO Players News is brought to you by the fine folks over at the Skull Splitter Dice Company. Don't forget the Andrar's Tales, the Early Years RPG Dice Kickstarter still running. We have now unlocked all of the sets of dice, so we are working on some other stretch goals as well. Stretch goals are available to anybody that pledges $60 or more. Don't forget as well, too, if you are at that $60 or more level, you are going to get adventures that will match each set of dice that you can use for Dungeons & Dragons 5.0. Once again, all three colors of dice have now unlocked in the Kickstarter, so you have your choice of colors. It is the blue and white, the Valkyrie's Sky. We have the Aether Breach, that is the purple and white, and the Forest Queen's Radiant is the green and white. And then, of course, once again, if you pledge 60 or more, you can get some other unlocks, which they are working on unlocking, and that is going to be some extra dice that are included, dice bag, and a 15-piece set upgrade for the dice. So check it out over in the show notes. You can get the link to the Kickstarter for Skull Splitter Dice, Andrar's Tales, the Early Years RPG Dice. And we want to thank the fine folk over at Skull Splitter Dice for sponsoring DDO Players News.
Good day, everyone. This is Pine Leaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. Please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. How are things going in Barovia?
Sucky.
What?
That's all you need to know. Sucky. Life sucks.
All right. Well, you're a vampire.
I see what you did.
Yes. Let's go ahead and see what's in the news for this week. And not really much. In fact, all we have looks like is a chronicle for this week.
We do. But all I'm going to say one thing. Standing Stone Games. I'm looking at the calendar. You're running out of time.
Ready?
All I'm going to say.
Running out of time.
You know what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at our chronicle then, where we have treasure, apparently, on the cover. Lots of treasure, but of course, with my RNG luck, there'd be nothing in any of those treasure. But, you know, hey, treasure nonetheless. Yeah, the Community Spotlight, there is a new webcomic that is up. It's called 3 Kobolds in a Trench Coat. So click over and watch that. I love that name.
3 kobolds in a trench coat?
Let's jump right into our fan side news section then. And DDO Cast had episode 552, which was Ask the Devs pre-Sharn. Patrick did interview executive producer Sutherland and community manager Cordovan. So check over and listen to that episode. We got a shout out for our episode last week. Don't forget to watch the newest show on DDO Stream. It is called Wicked Wednesdays with DM Tolab, so check that out. The House of Grouse has a new blog post up, The Sorcerer's Apprentices. Damsels of DDO celebrated St. Patrick's Day. Sip is dying hard, DDO style. DDO Sunday with Alex and Lynn. Don't forget to check that out. Streaming with Even had her episode 93. She was doing the level 35 anniversary party. And of course, Mickey's Delirium running some Reaper. And don't forget to check out D&D Night on DDO Stream, the Sunless Citadel Part 5. Ooh. And we will just jump right into our Chronicle comment.
Yeah.
Tell me your best DDO joke.
My best DDO joke?
Your best DDO joke.
I guess I have to see if I can find the least bad one, then I know.
I was trying to think, and I can't even think of a good DDO joke.
Yeah.
I've got nothing for that. Normally I have... the only thing I can think of as a DDO joke is the RNG to me. That's all I got.
Well, yeah. Well, that is a running gag all throughout DDO, of course. I remember I think it was episode 4 of the Sunless Citadel, for example, where even though it says, I must have Drax dice this week.
Ah, that's funny, really.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I'm not caught up on that. That's pretty funny, actually. There was some pretty good answers, though, in the forums on this. Why did the devil have trouble asking out his crush? He was a little Abishai. Get it? Abishai?
Good grief.
That's pretty good. I like that one, so I'm going to steal that for my answer this week. That's a good one.
Oh, well.
And then we do have our screenshot of the week. That is JD takes a moment to meditate by the waterfall in the 407th DDO screenshot of the week.
Whee!
And I have no idea where that picture's from, but it's a pretty sweet looking picture. I'm thinking Evening Star, probably, because that's where a lot of waterfalls are. Pretty sure that's where that. Cool screenshot, though.
Yeah, it's a nice screenshot.
And that's our chronicle.
Then let's head out into our store sales. Though I heard that there is a certain reward also.
There is. We will get to that in a moment, though. The store sales this week is the Hack and Slash, 25% off Slayer Boost, Loot Boost, and Treasure Hunter Elixirs. Select Shared Storage, all at 25% off, and that runs through March the 28th. The weekly coupon code is going to get you a lasting potion of Resist Acid, plus 10, 5 of those, when you use the coupon code Resist Acid, also through May the 28th. And as you hinted at, yes, the reward code is here. This, of course, is for the downtime that we have. This is there. Thanks for sticking through that 4 days of downtime. Redeem this code, REWARD2019, REWARD 2019. And that is going to get you 3 excellent experience elixirs and also a Raiders reward box. Keep a note with this. The experience elixirs are bound to account on acquire. The Raiders reward box is bound to character on acquire. So choose server and character wisely.
Choose wisely. Very well, then.
Once again, that code is, just in case you missed it, reward 2019. REWARD 2019.
And hopefully you redeem it at the right location.
Indeed. Again, choose wisely. And I think I did read on the forums that everybody should have gotten their DDO points as well that they were getting.
I should note that you have to be very careful on how you look for things concerning history-wise if you go into the history area, because there is not going to be a location where it says received 250 points, or at least if it works like it did on the Lotro side. But since, at least on Lotro, whenever they give the history shows you getting or spending points, it also shows the total.
Oh, well, that's kind of handy then.
So therefore, on the Lotro side, I saw it added 10 points, but the total went up by 260. I think I figured out where they added the 250 points at.
There you go. Yeah, math.
Yeah,
math
yes,
is good.
math helps a bit when you have something like that. And now let's see what's coming in from the dungeon. Where Jim Henson's Labyrinth, the adventure game, is coming from River Horse.
This is pretty freaking exciting, actually. Yeah, it looks like we are getting a role-playing Labyrinth game. The River Horse didn't really release a lot of information on this. They just kind of tweeted and put it up on their Instagram. All they said was announcing the Jim Henson's Labyrinth, the adventure game. Everything you need to enter the magical world of Jim Henson's Labyrinth. This beautiful collector's item contains a full epic adventure which can be played both by expert role players using their favorite RPG role system or by fans of Labyrinth who are not role players using the streamlined rule system included in the book. So that is pretty sweet. So you too can relive all the adventures in the Labyrinth. 2 different ways, it sounds like. It looks like you can import it into any rule system that you want or use the streamlined rules that are included. That is really all we know about it. As I said, they just kind of teased it and that was about it.
We'll have to find out more later.
Yeah, but I am super excited about this because I love Labyrinth. So this is going to be cool.
I think you're going to run into a couple of goblins.
Probably. And a Goblin King. Maybe.
Yes. Let's then see what's on the tabletop. Die Hard, the Nakatomi Heist board game is coming from USAopoly. Nakatomi Heist?
I knew you were going to say that because you have never seen Die Hard, have you?
Yep.
Nope, I figured, yes. The original Die Hard movie takes place in a tower called Nakatomi Plaza. So that's where the name comes from. But yes, this is awesome. This is based on the classic action movie Die Hard. It's going to be an asymmetric game with one player taking on the role of John McClane and the others acting as thieves, cooperating to foil the hero's plan to save the hostages in Nakatomi Plaza high-rise. The game is going to include callbacks to Die Hard's most memorable scenes, events, and characters, and the game board will unfold into 3 different playing surfaces at different stages of the game. This is a unique feature of the game that is going to allow a different play for 3 acts of the story. This is pretty sweet. And it sounds like the folks over at USAopoly, who I don't remember if we've talked about now, are now calling themselves the OP.
The OP?
I don't know why. Yeah, they're it's hard to explain, but yes. So if you ever hear us talking about the OP, we're talking about USAopoly. I don't know why they did it, but
they
anyway.
They think they're OP.
I guess so. But it sounds like this is normally their games. They have other people work on the games and then they just kind of publish them. This sounds like it is going to be one of the first in-house designed games. The OP is doing this game themselves. So fans of Die Hard are going to love this game. I'm excited about it because I love Die Hard and this just sounds awesome and I'm intrigued by the way the board's going to work. So we'll see. More information coming soon. They did say it's for 2 to 4 players, 12 and up, going to play in about 60 to 90 minutes. No MSRP. Our release date was announced. That's all we know. But Die Hard, the Nakatomi Heist board game, coming from USAopoly, aka the OP.
Oh, wasn't Hogwarts Battle in-house design, or is that done by somebody else?
That was out of house. I almost said outhouse. That's funny. that was done out of house.
Okay.
So I kind of looked back to see if they have ever done an in-house design, and from what I can see, they have not. So I do believe this is going to be the first one.
Then we'll see how it goes. Let's then see what's coming on the screen. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 announced.
Let's just take a moment and relish how freaking amazing this is. I have talked about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines plenty of times on the show. That is one of my favorite computer games of all time.
Oh, shocking.
Exactly. Who would have guessed that? So this is amazing. We've had a lot of teases on this. We've had some teases on Instagram and Twitter. We've had a bunch of speculation by a bunch of people. They even did an alternate reality dating game that came out that was pointing towards this coming. But what we didn't know is if it was going to be a remake of the original Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, or if it was going to be an all-new game. And it turns out it's going to be an all-new game. It was made official at the Game Developers Conference. They are publishing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. This is going to be set in Seattle, which is going to change things up a little bit. Publishers Paradox Interactive, and it's being developed by Hardsuit Labs. It's going to launch Q1 of 2020. In Bloodlines 2, the players are going to inhabit a fledgling vampire and deal with the various vampire clans and political factions from the world of darkness. Is it Q1 2020 yet? Or do I still have to wait some more?
You've got, let's say, up to a year to wait. Because we're at the end of Q1 for 2019.
This is going to be set years after the events of the original Bloodlines. And as I said, going to have an all-new city, Seattle, Washington. Pre-orders are available. You have plenty of choices for that. You can get it from the Paradox store, from Steam. From GOG are the Epic Game Stores. There's going to be a $59.99 standard edition. That's called just the standard edition. And then, there's going to be a Blood Moon edition that is going to include the Season of the Witch and a season pass, and additional story content to be released after the launch of the game. That is $89.99. But Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been announced. You can see the trailer over on DDO Players on this article. Is it Q1 2020 yet? That's all I'm saying.
Oh, well, you'll be saying that every day between now and then, I guess.
I will. I guess we're going to have to we have a Gen Con countdown on the site. Now we're going to have a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 countdown as well.
But the question is, what date do you set for it? Because I don't think it's going to come out on January 1st.
That is the question. I will be bugging my PR contact every day until I get an answer. Just saying, I might be a wee bit excited about this. Just a little bit. Tiny bit excited.
A little bit excited for it. Okay.
Just a bit.
I don't know. When you said it was going to be set in Seattle, first thing that came to my mind was a card from Vampire the Mask, from the, I guess did they call it the card game that was done by WotC way back when? It was changed its name to Jihad eventually. No, it was written.
Yeah.
It was called Jihad, then it was changed to. That's right.
Yeah. It was changed to Vampire the Masquerade.
Or the Unending Struggle or something. Anyway, in the original card,
the Eternal Struggle. That's it.
Right. And one of the cards was Anson, Prince of Seattle, which was named after Anson Williams, who was then the president of WotC.
Oh, okay.
And the joke about it is that I thought that of all of the activities I see those vampires doing, I thought that the use of the tongue by the vampire of Anson in there was so strange that I thought that even though there are some of them that are like complete, especially on the Nosferatu, which look completely unrealistic, I thought that was the most unrealistic item in the entire game. And I later found out that was based on a photograph of Anson Williams.
Really?
It really was his tongue. It was like,
wow.
And so that was one of the things they had put in the FAQ. Yes, that really is his tongue.
That's hilarious. Oh my God, that's funny.
He has a very, very long tongue.
Okay, then.
So when you said that, because he was made Prince of Seattle, since of course WotC is in Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
But let's head into our week in gaming. what did you do this week?
Well, I will let you talk about what we did, but I did a lot of stuff over on Wayfinder with the little static group that let's try that again. Rent and Tay and I have. We do call ourselves the Three Amigos because, it's always guys' night when we play, so long story. But anyway, we are level 16. So we did To Curse the Sky and Lost at Sea. And then we did Tower of Frost. We did that on Elite. And oh my god, that was difficult. It would help if we would be a little more equipped. We don't have the greatest equipment yet. But yeah, that was really tough on Elite, especially some of the optionals. It really, really was tough, but we did finish it, so that was fun. And then we decided we're going to head over to Evening Star, so we jumped in and we started doing the Web of Chaos to get over to Evening Star. Of course, that includes the Lords of Dust, Servants of the Overlord, and the Spinner of Shadows. And for the record, I will state, I still hate that Spinner of Shadows because it is so annoying that you have to kill all those spiders, light the things, beat on her, kill the spiders, get the things, beat on her, light the thing. That mechanic is just, it's annoying. I hate that quest so much. It's not that the quest is hard, it's just annoying. It's all there is to it. So then now all we have to do is just go through the last part where you have to run through all of that and then run through the Underdark to get to Evening Star, and then we'll start Evening Star stuff. And that is really all I did other than what I did with you. Because real life sucks. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what you're going to say.
That's what I'm going to say. So what did we do, and then what were you up to? Because it looks like you did quite a bit.
Well, first off, with what I did with you, we finished out Delara's graveyard so that we could pick up a little Voice of the Master. Then after that, we headed into Sardusk Isle, where we continued on our way, did the Temple Outpost quests and also the Fane of the Six quest, therefore Captives of the Cult, Libram of Six, Cleansing the Temple, and the Fall of the Prelate. On my level 12 Artificer, I headed into where I continued on in my quest with Ravenloft. I ran Sunrise, and as I was running Sunrise, I was noticing that my dog is always getting stuck. Now, this proved to be true for any place where I was going, but that little mechanical dog just, hello, are you going to catch up someday? Hello, are you going to catch up someday? And I wonder if I have to keep a track of my wolf on my druid, because you have so many things on the druid that I think the wolf was behaving better than the mechanical dog was. So we'll see how things are going on there. But I was having a lot of trouble getting the dog to come up. I always had reminding it to come up. Then after I finished that, I was short on leveling. Therefore, I went and repeated the final vintage for a little bit more XP. I like that quest on there. And then, well, since I just repeated the final vintage, I thought, let's repeat Wrath of the Earth.
That well, huh?
There is something about that boss fight where sometimes, no matter what you do, no matter how much you prepare, they still manage to wipe you. I don't know what it is about that fight, but I think that is getting up there with Fresh Baked Dreams on my not too sure I like this quest department.
I see.
Therefore, I would most likely, if I'm going to do more of those quests for XP, I'll probably do another Final Vintage or Sunrise, or even the one where you're searching for the Ravens. I'm not exactly too keen on that one, but that's more of I keep on getting lost. Maybe someday there's some hope of me being able to find my way around that place.
You remember the layout? Oh, now I was thinking the one in Castle Ravenloft. You're talking the one about out in the whatever that like town's called. Okay, I got
right. Yes, where Baba Lysaga has her hut.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, now I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Then I went into the marketplace and ran the Tower of Frost. Now, since the Tower of Frost is a level 14, I decided to run this on casual. I figure, all right, that's about a CR 13. I'm a Frost Dragon. I should be able to handle this. Right? Because a lot of stuff is going to be Frost, so therefore I'm better equipped against Frost than most other things. So,
Right,
so I
yep.
went in there, and I think things went pretty well all the way through there. And actually, it was a lot easier than Wrath of the Earth. I'll just put it that way. I still have not reached level 13, but I could probably do maybe another Final Vintage run, another Tower of Frost run that might give me enough in order to level up. Then in tabletop, I mentioned last week is that I received my copy of Warhammer Pacific, so I got some time in order to play that. I first ran a quick scenario, which I managed to win. And then after that, I said, let's try a campaign with the new campaign rules. And when I was doing it, I forgot two little things as I was preparing for this. One is that I made the environmental rules tougher than they really should have been at the start, because I forgot that you could take a suppression instead of a wound when you had the bad effects of the environment, and as a result, I had one of my men quickly die of sunstroke.
Oh, jeez.
Well, actually, maybe not sunstroke, probably the high heat and humidity since it was in the jungle. So you probably won't get sunstroke there, but you'll probably pass out from something. So after that, I said, that can't be intended to be this impossible. And I said, okay, you can suffer all right, it could slow you down for one of your actions instead of killing you completely. All right, fine, that's a little bit better. So I got that cleared up, but I'm still having a lot of trouble getting by the enemy soldiers in this. And because one of the things I forgot was how that pays a lot to when you're going on a campaign, this particular campaign, that explosives helps a great deal. And the one time I managed to get all the way up to the objective, I didn't have enough explosives. I sort of got it half destroyed, but I didn't have enough. I didn't have any satchel charges, and I didn't have enough grenades with me, so
Oh, jeez.
I couldn't finish the job. Oh well. So I tried that. There were 4 different scenarios in there. I managed to lose all 4 times in there, so I'm sure that I got a nasty gram from the president as a result of that. So that's how things went on there. After that, I decided let's try out the vehicle rules. So I made up a thing. I got a Sherman tank, a medical jeep, plus 2 soldiers going out on there, and everything was going all nice and fine. And I had, all right, which of these places I do? Well, I needed a place where vehicles could enter, so I chose this native village. And it turned out that native village was currently filled with half the Japanese army.
Dope.
Yeah, that didn't.
Well, at least she had a tank.
Oh yes, and I can tell you right now, tanks are overpowered in this game. Unfortunately, when you bring out half the Japanese army, and the thing is that they tend to attract anti-tank weapons when you have them out there, so that's sort of the balance out for them being OP. So at first, I mean, those machine guns and the cannon on that tank were just blowing things up left and right. Then, when I got half the Japanese army surrounding me and all this stuff, they just shot down the supporting infantry and the medical tank. The tank was the last thing still standing, but everybody had to keep their heads down because all the bullets firing right at the command hatch. Which gave time for the anti-tank weapon to eventually blow the thing up. That tells you, yeah. That was a tough time, but now I've got a better idea how the vehicle rules work. So I'm slowly learning how things are going, and getting killed in the on these wonderful Pacific islands with their high heat and humidity. And what else did we have? Oh yes, I did run in Minecraft Mage Rage a week number 4. And this time the designer of the map thought, how about if we had a really hard item in there? In this case, this was something called an ender chest. And anyone who plays Minecraft could just imagine you're in this item in here where, in theory, you're supposed to be able to do this. Usually the mage rages, you should be able to do it in an hour or less. Yeah, challenging yourself to go into a new map and being able to assemble an ender chest in less than an hour is, let's just say, it did not take me less than an hour. It didn't take
a little challenging.
It didn't take me less. It took me more than 2 hours in order to get this thing because yes.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, there's one time though I found a place where there was a lot of the gold, but I had very little inventory space. I said, all right, I really don't need that much gold. So, and then later on when I came near the end of the game, when I finally remembered, oh yes, I had this desert temple where I refused to take all this gold. Oh
geez.
Because I eventually needed to trade with a villager. And in order to really get that trade going, I needed gold.
Well, of course you did.
So that was the type of week I had on that matter. Lessons learned for the future. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon, and if you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on a podcast of your choice, or even be guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Players Alliance, at Players Ally, DDO Players, at DDO Players, Draculetta at Dracula_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Mules. You can also follow Draculetta on Twitch at Draculetta_72. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Thursdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. You can join us for our live shows on ddoplayers.com/live. And this is all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf News reminding you that Standing Stone is running out of time.
This episode of DDO Players News was brought to you by the Skull Splitter Dice Company. Don't forget the Andrar's Tales of the Early Years RPG Dice Kickstarter still running. We have now unlocked all of the sets of dice, so we are working on some other stretch goals as well. Stretch goals are available to anybody that pledges $60 or more. Don't forget as well, too, if you are at that $60 or more level, you are going to get adventures that will match each set of dice that you can use for Dungeons & Dragons 5.0. Once again, all 3 colors of dice have now unlocked in the Kickstarter, so you have your choice of colors. It is the blue and white, the Valkyrie's Sky. We have the Aether Breach, that is the purple and white, and the Forest Queen's Radiant is the green and white. And then, of course, once again, if you pledge 60 or more, you can get some other unlocks, which they are working on unlocking, and that is going to be some extra dice that are included, dice bag, and a 15-piece set upgrade for the dice. So check it out over in the show notes. You can get the link to the Kickstarter for Skull Splitter Dice, Andrar's Tales, the Early Years RPG Dice. And we want to thank the fine folk over at Skull Splitter Dice for sponsoring DDO Players News.